Hola chavos, welcome to How to Learn Spanish. My name is Levi Flint. This is episode 9. Organize and digest your new vocabulary. So we have all this new vocabulary that's kind of coming in now at this point. If you followed all of my advice in these episodes, you have lots of new words, new expressions that are coming in. Most people will just let those expressions kind of just pass on through, and they'll remember a couple of them. Probably, I would say 90+% they're not going to remember. So what I'm going to talk about here is a very simple strategy, a very simple way to organize these new words, to capture them, and to insert them into a really useful app that will allow us to easily study and review these new words and expressions in a way very similar to what I talk about with Pimsleur, how they teach. And this is called a spaced repetition system. This will allow, by studying this way, these words will definitely be committed to memory, and they have a really much higher likelihood of sticking in your brain for a long period of time. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about that in this episode. Just two things before I dive in, so bear with me. I have to mention these two things before we get to the meat of the episode. Okay. So, number one, if this is your first time to the podcast, don't start here. Don't start with this episode. Go back, start from the very beginning, work your way up to this point. So every episode in this podcast builds upon the other. It's like a Netflix series. Okay? So this is a great podcast. If you're learning Spanish, I'm going to teach you how to do it, but you really have to start from the beginning, or a lot of the things that I refer to just will not make sense. That's number one. Number two, if you're learning Spanish, okay, if you're learning how to learn Spanish, and if you're also trying to take action on learning Spanish, like right now, check out Fluency Hour. So Fluency Hour is my course. It's a 30-day course. It's a very simple way to both learn how to learn Spanish, okay, over the course of 1 month, and actually get assignments that pair with that are teaching you how to learn Spanish, and basically holding your hand and providing the structure that you need, the accountability you need to begin taking action. Again, it's just a 1 month course, and after that course, you have all the skills and knowledge you need to repeat that process over the course of several months. So you're learning a system, you're applying that system with me, and after that, you have the ability to just simply continue to repeat that system over the course of 3, 6, 9, 12 months. And if you are hyper consistent with this, you are guaranteed to improve your Spanish greatly. Ideally to the point of a high intermediate or a intermediate level of fluency in the language. Okay. So check that out. fluencyhour.com. You can link to the course there. Also, you can just go to Mexican Fluency. That's my main website. You can access the course there. And there is a big, long thing explaining how things work. I have a video there as well. So no nonsense. Everything, all the information is there. Okay. So let's dive in, guys. We're talking about vocabulary. We're talking about new words, new expressions. What to do with all this stuff that is just floating around. You know, we're listening, we're doing Pimsleur, we're doing Duolingo stories, we're studying Duolingo. Okay, if you're taking any sort of notes at this point, that's great. If you're not, that's okay too. So what we want to do now, and if you're watching the video, I have some visuals here, both for myself and for you. And if you're just listening to the podcast, that's totally fine. As always, I try to make these episodes for both people. Most people just listen. Most people are not watching my YouTube stuff for some reason. Okay. Let's say that you're doing what I talked about last time. You are reading Duolingo stories. So you're reading, you're mimicking, you're listening along. That's what you're doing. So what I recommend you to do is to do that, okay? Be reading your Duolingo stories, mimicking, absorbing the Spanish content. What I'd like you to do, though, at the same time, starting now, is to begin jotting down new words and phrases that you're finding in your Duolingo story, okay? So don't do this with Pimsleur. leave Pimsleur alone. Let Pimsleur be just totally an audio, conversational type of thing. It's great for you to make mistakes and then correct there in real time. Don't take notes, okay? With your like real listening, okay, your real immersive listening, you can jot down new words. That's fine. But really, that's why I like Duolingo and Duolingo Stories so much, because it moves so much more slowly, and you're just sitting there and you can very easily on your smartphone open up the Notes app, or if you're old school, you want a notepad, begin jotting down new words, new expressions that you're finding in Duolingo. Okay, so with the stories and in general with the course, the Spanish course, you can simply hover over or click on a word or expression, and typically the app will show you a translation. Okay, so again, this is the only time I'm really recommending translation, but all you want to do is to jot down the English word. Okay, jot down the English word that it's giving you. Put a comma in, comma, Spanish word. Okay, and then follow it by writing an example sentence. Okay, so I'll give an example here. So if the word desayuno, if you don't know what that word is, and let's say you see that in Duolingo, you're like, desayuno, ¿qué es desayuno? Okay, you look it up or click, and then you're going to see breakfast. Okay, breakfast, desayuno, and then after that, write an example sentence to remind yourself how it's used in a sentence. So you could say, el desayuno aquí es muy rico. Okay, cool. The breakfast here is really tasty, is really good. Great. So what you want to start doing is just that. So whenever you're studying Spanish, whenever you're studying, particularly with Duolingo, because there's so much content on there and it's so accessible, it's so easy to use this. So I like Duolingo Stories, as I mentioned last time. It's great. It's a great place to pull out new words, new expressions. You can easily find the translation, and you have it right there. You have an example sentence right there inside the story. You can just steal it. Boom, just grab it. And you want to just begin making your notes, okay? So whenever you're doing this stuff, jotting it down. Word, expression, word. And I recommend just using your Notes app on a smartphone. It's super easy, and start doing that. So what you want to do after that, so this episode might be a little longer than I anticipated. So what you want to start doing, once you have this big, you're building a list of vocabulary words from your studies. So you want to then go to Anki Web, okay? And so you can just find this on your smartphone or easily on your computer. Go to Anki, or just type in Anki, A-N-K-I, okay? A-N-K-I in Google, and it's going to pull up. Here on my computer, it's going to show that you can just very simply download the app. And that's free. I think on Android, the app is free. And I think on your smartphone, they are now charging, unfortunately. But whatever they're charging, it's totally worth it. I recommend it. It's not going to break the bank. It might be a little pricey now, actually, but it's not going to break the bank. And it's going to be something you can have forever. But it is free on your computer. So you can very simply download it. And what it looks like, if you're watching the video, it looks like this. So it's and for those of you guys listening, it's a very old school looking type of app. Very simple though, okay? Mine might look a little confusing because I have a bunch of things going on here. But all it is an app that allows you to create vocabulary decks. So you probably remember back in the day, if you're a little older, that we used to always take, what were we calling them? Just like little flashcards, like little paper flashcards. And we'd have a deck, and we'd write down words, write down one word on the front, the other word on the back, or one concept on the front, its explanation on the back. And we would just, have a deck. Here, this is a similar concept. So you see here, if you're watching the video, I have a Spanish deck. And all you do is we're going to be adding new words or expression to a deck. So I'll click on Spanish here, and I can just go to add, And all I'm doing is I have front, back, and then I have tags below it. So all I'm recommending here is all you're going to be doing is writing the English word first. So let's say we're talking here about breakfast still. And on the back, desayuno. And then what I recommend is to write the example sentence right next to it. Okay? El desayuno aquí es muy rico. Easy, huh? So that's why I had you writing your notes like that. So you have English, Spanish, followed by the Spanish example sentence. Really, really simple. And to add this, I simply click add. Boom, it's in there. So whenever I go to actually study the words, I have 17 words in my deck right now, just as an example. I can click study now, and it's going to show the first word here is brother. Okay, great. So I need to be thinking to myself, brother, hermano. Okay. All right. So what you see here is my sentence. So I have hermano, and then I have mi hermano es alto. I have my example sentence right next to it. And then below it, all I'm going to be doing is writing, okay, I didn't really understand that. If I got it wrong, I'd say again. If I struggled to get the right answer, I'd say hard. If I got the answer, maybe it took me a little bit of time to answer though, I would say good. And if it was super easy, I'm going to click on easy. So for this, I'm going to say easy. Okay. And it shows you down here below how much time is going to pass before that shows you this word again. So for some reason I have here, if I say again, it's going to be in 10 minutes. If I say hard, it's going to be 4 days. If I say good, it's 2.6 years. That's crazy. Easy, 6.8 years. I don't know why. I think this is just my personal stats. So I think the system knows that hermano for me is very easy. Okay. So I have another one here. Dilapidated. To be honest, I don't remember dilapidated. So let's see. Destartalado. Wow. I don't know that one. So I would say, yeah, I need to see that again. Click. And I'm going to see it here in just 1 minute. If I continue to study, I'm going to see it very soon. Plaster. Okay. So I think you're getting now how this works. So it is effectively a smart, powerful, intelligent flashcard deck. Okay. So they even advertise it as that. Remembering things just became much easier. So just like back in the day, we had our deck of flashcards, of paper flashcards. That was a deck, but it wasn't a smart, intelligent, AI-powered deck. It was just a bonehead kid deck, high school kid deck. This is going to be a lot more effective because you are going to be marking how hard or easy it was. And if they're hard, you're going to see them immediately again. And as they progressively become more easy, that time will extend out. So the time that you're going to see it again will extend out. So ideally, you're constantly seeing the hard stuff, and the real easy stuff is getting pushed out, and you're going to see it again, but just often enough to help you to remember, to drill that word or expression into your mind. Very effective, though. It's very effective. It's one of the best tools we have for organizing our new Spanish words, our new expressions, and to just build out a really big vocabulary. It's a great way to do it. Highly recommend. Don't skip this step. If you have questions on this one, highly recommend you join Fluency Hour. I have a total walkthrough, very slow motion walkthrough video showing you exactly how this process works. I mentioned a lot of those things here in this podcast, but in Fluency Hour in the course, I go much more into depth, and it's something that I'm constantly providing support to students who need the help and support for this, or if they're not understanding how this works exactly. I provide walkthroughs and all that stuff. So that's all I have for this episode, guys. Hopefully it didn't go on too long. Hopefully you found it valuable and not too boring. I think this is a little bit more technical, a little more of a dry topic when it comes to learning Spanish. However, I really think that it's solving the big problem of, okay, well, I'm learning all this Spanish. I have all these notes. Like, okay, what do I do with it? Because if you're just taking notes, the truth is you're just wasting your time. that is just a truth. We've all been students before. That is one of the biggest truths that no teachers talk about this, right? Okay, just sit there and take notes. But they're not showing you, okay, well, like, what do you actually do with these notes? Because, you're really, we all have different levels of intelligence and of ability to retain information right there in the moment. But I know me personally, I need a strategy to consume all the notes, all the new information that is coming my way. I won't just absorb it. Especially as it gets progressively more difficult, I need a strategy to help me. And this, I think, is a really good one. So hopefully you liked this episode, guys. I hope it was helpful. As always, make sure to subscribe. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can follow me everywhere at Mexican Fluency. And that is all I have, guys. So I hope to see you in the next episode. And if you have any questions, shoot me over an email at levi@mexicanfluency.com. Muchas gracias, chavos. Adiós y hasta pronto.